I always call my wife a human care bear. She's one of the most loving people I've ever met in my life. And I also just want to thank Pastor and all the leadership here at Perecting Faith. In life, you can only grow and do things if you have people to guide you and people that have your best interests at heart. And here at Perecting Faith, we have that. And that's a blessing. You can't say that everywhere. So, with that being said, you guys can say everybody looks nice tonight, too. Everybody looking sharp. So, what I was presented with a question to speak to you guys tonight was what does Christmas mean, or what is the meaning of Christmas? Now, with a question like that, depending on who you ask, that could be a very loaded question, because for some people that just means a day off from work, to hang out with their family, put on a couple extra pounds, watch a couple of games, buy some gifts, or it might be the other way. People just really don't care which way the other. Some people believe it's the actual birthday of Jesus, which is not true, just in case you were wondering. And some people just don't feel any other way about it. So, but one of the really things to look at a question like that, you kind of got to go back to the history of something like that. So, with Christmas has been celebrated for centuries. People have celebrated Christmas in many different ways throughout the generations. Back in the early days, the Christians who at the time were participating in the Roman holiday of Saturnalia, or what is known as winter solstice. And that was for the celebration of a pagan god, the Saturn, which was at that time the god of agriculture. Now, when back then they say celebrate, now picture celebration back then, the way they were celebrating this holiday. Picture how you used to celebrate before you got saved, right? You used to hang out, be partying, whatever it was. Now picture that, times it by 10, and then throw Mardi Gras on top of it. Now, this is how they were getting down back then. They was just going crazy, buck wild, partying all the time, all hours of the night. Whatever happened, it didn't matter. And now the leaders at that time were kind of like, wait a minute, this is a little bit too much. People getting out of control, lives was ruined, and they just got way out of control. So the Christian leaders at that time didn't want Christians actually participating in those rituals. So what they did was Pope Julius first designated December 25th as a day to celebrate Christ. So that's kind of where that actual date came from. It wasn't really the actual birth of Christ. It was to try to get away from the pagan celebration so people wouldn't further get caught up in sin and lose their lives and, ruin countless generations, and that generation and generations to come. They just kind of wanted to get rid of it altogether. So they came up with that idea. All right? So, and eventually Christians began to pull away from the pagan holiday, the winter solstice, and began to focus on the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, Christmas is not mentioned anywhere in the Bible at all. You won't be able to find that because it's not there, because it didn't actually take place. That wasn't the actual day. But what you will find throughout the Bible are certain examples of Jesus. One of those examples would be Isaiah 9:6, which reads, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name should be called the Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, and the Everlasting Father, and the Prince of Peace." And that is more what we are used to, where Jesus first showed up on the scene. One of the scriptures points that out. Now, The Christmas tradition was embraced and rejected on and off throughout the centuries by different leaders, depending on how they felt at that time. So you had some generations that celebrated, some generations that didn't, and it was all depending on who was leading at that time. Now, Christmas as we know it today is because during the 19th century, America kind of reinvented it. They reinvented it to be centered around families and designated a day of peace and rest. Now, so what they did was 19th century, they kind of changed it around, so kind of what we have today, you have it as a day off, you kind of spend time with your family, your loved ones, but the actual day on June 26, 1870, was when Christmas was officially declared a federal holiday. And that's the day it became what it is today. It was kind of stamped in stone. And as a day as we now know it to spend time with our loved ones, exchange gifts, whatever, but just as that was designated at that time. Now, so in conclusion, like whether or not it's December 25th or the day after tomorrow, the real reason is for us Christians, and honestly for us as a people to kind of love each other with unconditional love. Because that's really what it is. That's really what it's about. You have to get to the point where you love people with unconditional love the way Jesus loved us.
Yes, amen.
Because if you don't, imagine if Jesus would have just threw us away, right? Imagine if he said, you know what? I had enough. You guys messing up. I can't take it anymore. And be done. I wouldn't be standing here. A lot of people wouldn't be here. Especially for me personally. I don't know if there's anybody that kind of remembers those old commercials, crash test dummies, where they strap people into a car, run it into the wall so you can kind of see how good the car is. Now that was me, times 10. I wasn't always, the kind of guy that was loud or did a lot of different things. I was always the crash test dummy. I wouldn't believe anything unless I went out there and did it for myself. If you told me the sky was blue, I have to go outside and check. Always kind of got to do things the hard way, right? You don't really want to listen, but you listen enough to where you won't get in trouble, or you might just slide by. You don't even want to do the right thing. You kind of want to go your own way. And to the young people in the room, you don't have as much time as you think you might have to do your own thing the way you think you might want to do it. Time as you know it, or time as you think it may be, is very, very short in comparison to what you think it is. Just yesterday, I was 15, living in my parents' house, doing my own thing. Didn't have a care in the world. Now I'm 35 and I'm married, and everything changes. What it is that you don't want to get caught up in a place where you shouldn't be, or somebody told you not to be, and you can't get out of it. Or if you're not saved, or if you were saved and you backslid, you don't know when that last chance is going to be. So you have to kind of take heed of the things that you have, and you have to kind of take heed of the things that you were taught. You never know when it's going to be it. A lot of people woke up yesterday and didn't wake up today. They have no idea that was going to be the last day, but that's it. That's how quick things happen. So what you want to do is, and as Christians, you kind of want to be the light in somebody's dark day. You know what I mean? Nowadays, the world that we're living in today, people are looking for God and they don't want to acknowledge it, or they're looking for God and they don't know where to go. You have no idea what you being saved or what your life means to somebody, or what your impact can be if you just be obedient to God. Your life may not depend on it, but somebody else's life will most definitely depend on it. So what you want to do is you want to do your best to lead people to Christ so that He can change them and make them live free. Now, when I say live free, I mean because living free, depending on the person, can mean a different thing. But you're not truly living free until you accept God into your heart. Until you really know God's love. Because God's love is an awesome thing. You know what I mean? It can change lives. You may be in a situation where you think your hands are dirty. And I'm not talking about dirty as far as labor. I'm talking about life dirty. People think because they have done certain things, they have gone certain places, they have done certain things wrong, that they are unworthy of God's love. And that is the most untrue thing that the devil wants you to believe. Right? He wants you to believe that you are so far away from God's love that God doesn't want you. Because He knows that if God gets you, then you can work for God's kingdom. God's waiting for us. Right? So, in conclusion, it's just, be the best person you can. Be the best Christian you can. Because not only can you be the light in somebody's dark day, you can be the light in this dark world that we now live in. The world wants to believe that the day a Christian is over. Like, it's just unbelievable the things that you see going on right now. And it's not over. It's never over for us. And you have to think about how silly the devil is.
That's right.
Like, God already gave us the blueprint to win. Like, the story's already over. Right? So, the story's over. We already know that we won. But He's still trying to do the same thing. It's like, come on, man, you already lost and you don't realize it. Like, why you keep doing the same thing? Right? And our thing is not to get caught up in that so that we lose our focus and we can't do the things at hand, which at the end of the day is freeing people so we can show each other and show God that we have His people free. We need to free people. So in conclusion, just be the best, Christian you can be and love God, because at the end of the day, it's all about winning souls for God.
Amen.